Okay, welcome to DCA Pro, and I'm Matthew Wallace, and it's high time I just started posting some videos. And the structure of my videos for now, until I kind of figure things out, is I'm just going to walk through how I am investing in cryptocurrency, and I will put out future videos to talk about what dollar cost averaging is and why I believe it's the safest way to invest in cryptocurrency. On the onset, you're learning things as I learn them, and you're learning things that I've learned over the years. I'm not saying my strategies are the best, but they definitely work for me. I'm sure there are some things I could be doing better. All that being said, if you're new to cryptocurrency and you're scared of it, the goal of my videos are to give you some confidence in getting your money into the cryptocurrency market if you feel like it's a good investment for you. And I'll give you a little bit of background over the course of several videos, but the high level is I'm a software engineer, and blockchain technology and cryptocurrency interests me because I look at it from a business strategy. What utility do these cryptocurrencies have? Whether it's Bitcoin or some other cryptocurrency, what is the underlying reason why you would want to invest in these currencies? Because usually they are a mechanism to achieve some sort of technological goal. So, all that being said, what I'm going to do on this first video is just show you how I decide how to dollar cost average into the market. And what I mean by dollar cost averaging is exactly that. Over the course of, whatever your strategy is, whether you want to put $10 into Bitcoin every week, or $100 or $1,000 every day, whatever you're deciding to put toward cryptocurrency, you would take what you're going to invest in, you would put it into the market over the course of a certain amount of time, whether that's every week, every day, every month, every year. I try to invest at a minimum monthly. Bitcoin is something I'm actually buying and holding for a long period of time, versus the other cryptocurrencies. I actually dollar cost average into them, but I also trade them on a shorter time frame. I might buy and sell a certain crypto over the course of a month, or even a couple of days sometimes, if it achieves the goal that I have at the time. So I'm just going to start talking through how I analyze what my next moves are going to be. At the time of this recording, we might be getting a Bitcoin ETF. I would encourage you to do research on what that means. At a high level, it just allows regular people who invest in the stock market to buy Bitcoin without having to go to an exchange to buy Bitcoin. They can actually go to a stock broker or a investment firm, and they can say, here's $100, go buy me $100 worth of Bitcoin, without having to learn how to buy Bitcoin on your own. So at the time of this recording, it's about a day before we might possibly get an approval for that. So the cryptocurrency markets have been anticipating that, and as you can see from a Bitcoin perspective, over the last 24 hours, we've shot up to around $46,000 to $47,000. So that being said, I actually have some, a week or two ago, these yellow lines, whenever you watch my videos, these are the areas I've actually spread out some of my money to buy Bitcoin. And I do that with all of the cryptocurrencies that I purchase. So the ones that I invest in, short-term and long-term, the big one is Bitcoin. I invest long-term in Bitcoin. Ethereum and Solana and Chainlink are the other three, and I trade and invest those on a shorter time frame. I don't really buy and hold those for a long period of time. and I'll show you what that looks like. But the first thing I want to do is show you how I decide when it's a good time to buy more Bitcoin, and then we can apply these same strategies to the other coins, but I have a shorter time frame for trading those. So you can see some stuff on my charts right now where I've drawn some lines, and I'm using some TradingView tools. If you don't have a TradingView account, they're free. I would encourage you to sign up for one. Also, I've been working on this indicator that you'll see quite frequently on my videos. I will share a link on adding that to your TradingView chart if you would like to use it. Originally, I was going to try to make it part of a membership to my website, which I don't have finished right now. But for now, I'm just going to give it away for free. I think it's a good tool. It has some algorithms built into it that I've used from other TradingView indicators that help me understand what the current trend and what the current money buying power is in the market. And I'll go into explaining what the different colors and the different areas in this indicator down here mean later in the video. But for now, let's just pretend I've logged in this morning and I'm looking at Bitcoin because I want to make sure that I've got my buy and sell, really, let's just talk about buying. Let's not talk about selling right now. We want to look for good entries. We want to buy at the lowest price we can. However, over the course of a long period of time, let's say 2 or 3 years, we don't really care what the price is, but we also care. Like, the lower you can buy Bitcoin, the better your returns are going to be. So the way I do it is, number one, I see what the current trend is, and I'm going to remove some of these indicators and just pretend like I'm looking at this with fresh eyes. So ignore these current yellow lines. These are previous price targets of where I was going to purchase Bitcoin. As you can see, I actually bought some at around $41,300 roughly. As you can see, this kind of wick that kind of trended down right here. So that's the last time I actually bought Bitcoin. These other price targets haven't been hit in a while because we've just been on a tear with Bitcoin. It's just been shooting up, and it's not really taken a break for quite a while. As you can see, the last time I purchased it, it was right around January the 24th, but previously I hadn't bought any until around like the 1st of December of last year is the last time I bought Bitcoin at around $40,000. So anyway, that's how I tend to invest. I have a certain amount of money. Let's just say, as an example, every week I purchase $250 in USD stablecoin, and I have that sitting in my Coinbase account. If you don't have a Coinbase account, it's the platform I recommend if you want to buy and sell cryptocurrency. And then I'll get into other videos on how I hold stuff long term. But for now, Coinbase and TradingView, if you don't have accounts, I'll have a link in the video. I would very much appreciate it if you use those links. They're going to be referral links. So if you sign up and you actually buy some cryptocurrency on Coinbase, then you and I will get $10 basically. So anyways, go get you a Coinbase account, go get you a TradingView account, and you can follow along and learn as I learn. So what I would do coming into this chart, let's say I woke up this morning and I want to set new price targets. So our last all-time high, or not our all-time, our current high point our high price point for Bitcoin over the last 24 hours or so was right around 47,300. Some exchanges went all the way up to like 47,600 ish. But if you kind of put your cursor here at the very top of that candle, it's right around $47,300, give or take. So what I use is what's called a Fibonacci retracement tool. And I also look at this indicator that I use that I've actually custom coded myself. And this actually tells me if the trend is about to reverse. It doesn't always predict it, but it doesn't necessarily predict that the price is going to go down. It uses the trend and the volume at which Bitcoin is being purchased or sold to let me know if it's going to keep going up or keep going down. That's a better way to look at this indicator. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to shoot right up or shoot right back down. It just says, hey, we've kind of reached a point in the trend where it's running out of steam. So I look at that, and when you see this red start to pop up, then you know that the trend is kind of coming to an end, and then you can see the trend has actually kind of started reversing back down. If you can tell on the 4-hour time frame, we actually see indications of where we should possibly look at buying down here. I would use the 4-hour chart if you're wanting to trade and invest more in a short term. Let's say you want to trade over the course of, say, weeks or months instead of holding your investment for 6 months to a year or 2 years at a time, sometimes even up to 4 years, depending on what you're buying and selling. Or you might just want to hold it forever. If that's your strategy, then great. When I'm trading Bitcoin, I actually look at the daily. So let me switch over to the daily chart, and as you can see, we've not seen a green indicator for buying in quite a while. The last time that the trend actually reached below the 20% level was way back in, let's see here, in August on the daily time frame. However, we do see a lot of indications of when the trend is kind of cooling off, and there is some opportunity to dollar cost average into the market, which is what we're doing with Bitcoin. I'm looking at a long time frame. Whenever you see green on the indicator, then that means you've reached a pretty good bottom in the trend, and you can really safely just throw a lot of money in, or at least that's the decision I make when I see that. So for now, let me get back to the Fibonacci retracement tool because I get a little sidetracked here. I'm going to do better at trying to make these videos short and sweet, but these first few I might do a little more explaining so that you can kind of go back and watch these. So step one, I come in here, I look to see if the trend is getting close to cooling off, number one. We kind of hit this peak here. We didn't quite make it in, but we're close to making it, up into that 80% level on the indicator down here. So what I'll typically do is take the Fibonacci retracement tool, and once you select it, if you need to know where that's at over here, I just have a shortcut for it. Over on the left hand side, you'll look at actually that's the wrong one. So I have a little shortcut, Fibonacci retracement tool. So over here, it's underneath the third little area. You have all these different trend indicators or tracing tools and drawing tools. You want to grab the Fib retracement tool. Now yours will look a lot different than mine because I actually removed a lot of the noise from it. But let me just show you how I tend to do this. So I'll come in here and I'll start at the very top of the candle. Doesn't have to be perfect, but just somewhere around the very top of the last high in the trend. That's very important to look at where we are in the trend and look at your high point in the trend. Now I'm going to click, and what it's going to do is it's going to draw, and I'm going to come down and try to hit like a support area that we've seen at the past. So down here you can see all these candles kind of reached an area of support along this line. This was before it really shot up again. So you could do one of two things. If you're trading short term, you can kind of go to the bottom of these candles here. I actually trade on a longer time frame. I'm hoping that we see a correction in Bitcoin so that I can buy at lower prices. So I actually am going to retrace back down to around 36,000 because we saw a lot of candles play around in that range of around $36,000. Okay, so now that we have this newer high, this short-term high, you can notice that my yellow lines don't quite, we want to look at this 50% area right here. So the first line that I'll typically put in is right here. Now let me just kind of delete this, and I'm going to show you how to add a line. Let me select that. I'm going to delete it. So I'm going to go up here and select the line tool. Over here, it's up at the very top. You'll see this horizontal line. So I have it as a favorite, but I'm going to go ahead and select that. So now, right around that 50% level on the Fibonacci retracement, I'm going to put a line. So this is the first area that I'll be looking to buy Bitcoin again. I'm hoping that we'll see a short-term retest of this right around $42,000. Okay, so I usually place my line just a little bit below this first line on the retracement tool. Okay, the second one, I'm going to place it right around that second line. And then typically I'll place a third line somewhere kind of in the middle of this retracement before we get to the very bottom of the retracement. And usually I'll look for some sort of area of resistance, because that will more often than not sometimes act like a support. So we may not even go down to this final level here. So as you can see, I don't really need to move this 36,700 level. I'm gonna move this to where it's just right around 38,000. Let's just go in here now. Once you've selected the line, I like to go in here if I want to set an actual price. You could say, all right, let's do 38,600. Okay. All right. So now, and if you wanted to clean up some of these price points, you could. Totally up to you. So now what I'll do is I'll go over into Coinbase and I'll set up new buy limits on these new prices that I've set. So let's do that again for Ethereum, because I also trade Ethereum, and I actually trade Ethereum on a little bit more of a shorter time frame. So I'm going to go back to the 4 hour just to kind of see where we're at trend wise. Let me see if I can reset the chart here. Okay, great. All right, so Ethereum's been kind of bouncing around on us quite a bit, and it's stayed pretty stable, but definitely going to see a bit of a drawdown in Ethereum pretty soon, I think. As you can see, we haven't quite hit a high on the trend here, but we are headed back down. Usually what we'll see is this might actually bounce back up a little bit, especially if that ETF gets approved. We might see that trend back up. However, for now, let me kind of get rid of some of these tools and do this again for you guys. So on the 4-hour chart, let me kind of squeeze this down here so we can kind of zoom out a little bit. All right, so what I'll do is I'll come back in here, grab my Fibonacci retracement tool. It looks like our peak on this trend, let's see where this trend hit almost 100 on the 4-hour chart. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to draw from that high, and I'm going to come all the way down to here. I actually have a sneaky suspicion that we might see $2,000 again. We might even go down a little bit below that. So I'm going to actually drag my trend exhaustion, not my trend exhaustion, I'm sorry, my Fibonacci retracement tool back down here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to adjust our yellow lines. We're going to look for an entry around 22.23. We'll look for another entry right around 21, let's say 21.67. We're going to leave this one here at right around 2096. And then I'm going to go ahead and put a third one. Grab that guy. Come all the way down here. Right, just above $2,000. Just like, let's say $3 above, something like that. All right, so now if we have a correction and we spread out our investment, let's just say you have $1,000 to make the math simple, right? So, you know, $1,000 divided by 4. So you want to put $250 at each level. So if you're adding $250 to your Coinbase account in USDC, which is what I do, because you can actually set up a recurring and draw from your bank account on Coinbase into USDC stablecoin, which is a strategy I use. You don't have to do that. You can actually just hold US dollars in your account. I like holding USDC because you actually get a small percentage return on holding USDC on Coinbase, which is another little nice to have. You might get a few extra dollars here and there. And that it kind of offsets my my fees a little bit for purchasing crypto. So anyways, so that's how I would come in here and do Ethereum. And then Solana, I would do the same thing. I just come in here, look at the last all-time high, or not the current high, I should say, not all-time high, because we haven't had an all-time high in a while. Let me get rid of this line here. And then our last high was right around $126 on Solana. And I'm going to retrace. I don't think anything's changed on this one, but I'm just going to do it for the sake of teaching you guys how I analyze where my buy limits are going to be. So I'm going to say right around 125.90, and I'm going to pull this down. Actually, let me try that again here. Okay, grab that, and we're going to pull this down all the way to here. All right, so now what we can do is we can move these yellow lines right there. So our first buy is going to be around $100. Our second is going to be around 95. And let's go ahead and create a third line. And I'm going to put that right at the bottom of this where it kind of spiked down and then bounced. I'm going to say at $84.94, and I'll leave this final one at $76. We typically, cryptocurrency can be very volatile, so you're not always going to come all the way down to your fourth buy limit, but there are times, and I'm getting ready to show you on Chainlink, it is extremely volatile. So I actually had 3 buy limits set up that I did not expect to hit. At least I didn't expect to hit right away. And you can see the last time I bought Chainlink, we hit 1, 2, 3, and I actually went ahead and put a little more in when it had dropped to around this $13 price tag down here. And you can see it actually spiked below my last Fibonacci retracement because I had seen this trend change, so I thought it would be another good buying opportunity. I've actually done pretty well. I've been averaging around 20 to 25% return on Chainlink when I'll buy it this way, and it'll spike back up. You can see these peaks here. I've been buying for a little bit since around November, and I have profited right here, and I've sold right here as well. So I'm just waiting for it to go back up again. So same thing, I'll come in here, get rid of that old Fibonacci retracement. I'll go from this guy all the way down to, let's just say, like right here, because you want to pull it down close to your last. You want to find a point of support or resistance and drag it down to that. So for me, I'm just going to say here, because you've seen there's been a kind of a spike right here. There's also been where it dropped right in here. So that's probably a good spot, and if you notice, it actually hit right on one of my previous buy points, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to drag this back up, and I'm going to say my second limit is going to be here. Third one, I'm going to place it right around, let's say 1389, 1390-ish, something like that. Let's put one more. Grab that all the way down to about $12.95. All right. So that's how I will come in and set up my buy and sell, or actually my buy limits. My sell, I'll just kind of quickly go over that. That I'm going to leave up to you guys. If you're trading more short term, or let me say investing more short term, I don't want anyone to think that learning how to day trade is a good idea unless you have been doing this a while. The attitude you should take is, I'm going to do my best research, come up with a strategy. The worst case scenario is you made a bad decision and you're going to have to hold that crypto investment for a lot longer than you anticipated. The only time you lose in what's called spot trading or spot investing is if you sell at a lower price. You can hold cryptocurrency for quite a long time, especially if you choose cryptocurrencies that have been proven for quite a while. So worst case scenario, you have to hold the cryptocurrency for a bit longer, but that's why a dollar cost average strategy is going to be best for you if you decide to go into this. At least that's my opinion. So let's just say if you wanted to trade on more of a shorter term, how would you go about deciding how to exit the market in profit? So what I typically do, let's just say as an example, you hit your first 2 buy limits and then it starts shooting back up. So what I do is I come in here and I use the price range tool, and I'll select that, and let's just say we hit this price range right here. So a lot of people will disagree with this strategy. This is how I do it. I want to make between 12 and 20% profit every single time I do a short-term trade. So for me, I'll come in here and I'll start at this line and click, and then I'll drag up, and as you can see, right around 12% profit, you would sell at around $16.50. So what I'll do, in case it shoots way up when I'm not paying attention to the market, because I do not look at my screen all day long. I have a job. I don't do this for a living. I just invest, and I think this is a really interesting market. So I don't do this full time, and I don't want to have to worry about, you know, clicking the sell button in the middle of the night. So you could do one of two things. You could set a sell limit at, you know, at this case at $16.50. Or what I like to do, because if the asset is very volatile, as you can see, it's kind of spiked up a few times, I'll actually drag this out to the previous little spike that it's had. And look, that's almost a 20% gain. So sometimes I might set it a little bit higher, especially at kind of round number figures. A lot of people, when they're trading, it's like a psychological level. So I may come back in here and set a sell limit at just below $18. So if that were to sell in the middle of the night from a $14.72 low, you know, buy, then I've made right around 21% from that level. Now, I'm not doing the math. Obviously, I've not made quite 21% because I actually bought some at $15.32, but I think you get the point. This is how I decide when am I going to sell in the short term. In the long term, that's a longer conversation. For me, I'm waiting for Bitcoin to go through its 4-year cycle. Once it reaches what I think is starting to be an all-time high, then I'll start what's called DCAing out of the market. I'll start taking profits in a more strategic manner in the long term. So anyway, that was a little bit longer first video. My next videos are going to be more about what's the current prices, what am I looking at as far as short-term and long-term buy limits, and I'll keep it a little bit shorter, and these will go a little bit quicker. For those of you very new to the cryptocurrency market and how I invest, I wanted to take a little bit of time and show you how I come up with these strategies. There will be more videos, so please follow along. You'll get notifications if you do subscribe and turn on the bell notifications. I would very much appreciate that. I do not intend on turning on the advertising mechanism on the YouTube videos. If I have a referral link, please use those. That's how it would just be kind of a thank you from you guys. If you find some of the tools or some of the referral links valuable and you're going to use them anyways, then that'd be a cool thing for you to do if you don't mind. So anyway, I hope this video has been helpful. Intend on working on these and making them better. Please comment below if you have questions or if there's something you want me to cover a little more in depth. And until next time, I appreciate your time, and I will see you next time.